Well,
Right,
yeah.
so the legislation states a person commits the offence of aggravated trespass if he trespasses on land and in relation to any lawful activity which persons are engaging in or are about to engage in on that or adjoining land in the open, does anything which is intended to him to have the effect of intimidating other persons or any of them so as to deter them or any of them from engaging in that activity, of obstructing that activity or disrupting that activity.
What about protecting our legal rights?
What about protecting our rights? They don't own the land.
So because these chains...
Alright then, so it's a pretty long introduction to this. As you've seen from that video just there, I have cut a little bit out. This is on about in relations to aggravated trespass. Now, the key thing is with aggravated trespass, these British Transport Police or Scottish Transport Police, whatever you want to call them, is saying that this couple who are sat on their land are committing aggravated trespass on their own property because they've put chains across the fence to stop Network Rail from accessing their property. Now, I've watched quite a few of their videos and I have been wanting to learn a little bit more about certain Scottish laws because the laws are slightly different from Scotland and England. So this is just going to be an opinion-based video, and in my opinion, and what I've seen with my own eyes, and what this constable here has acknowledged, and Network Rail staff has acknowledged, that the land, if you go on a satellite image, shows that they own that bit of land, and where the Network Rail want to access is on their land. This is in dispute in courts as well, so it's a civil matter, which is an ongoing civil matter in courts. But Network Rail want to access that land, even though it's a civil dispute, which is an ongoing civil dispute, and they're using the transport police to assist them in that. I'm probably not going to interrupt this video that much. I'm just going to play it through, jump in where I need to, hopefully not that much, have my late opinion, and then let it play out. But let's just get straight into it.
Assist the Network Rail cut the chains.
I'm not assisting.
Yes, you are.
Cut any chains in. Or would you like to remove the chains yourself?
We don't have to. Show me the law that says we have to remove the chains off our gate.
I've tried to show
You haven't tried anything. All you tried to do is help Network Rail.
When I said to you a minute ago...
We don't have to remove the chains. It's our land.
I said to you, do you want me to, can I show you the legislation? And you said no.
We don't trust
You're
you.
saying to me, show me the legislation. I'm offering to
Okay,
show you.
tell me. But, right, go on then. Tell me. Quote it.
Mr. Smith, I just against the engaging Network Rail to take the rail that committed criminal offence against us. Just to warn you, if
Right
you
then,
proceed,
Ian. So,
Hang on a minute. One conversation at a time.
can I ask you please to listen, or you're
It's
not?
being arrogant.
If you proceed to trespass on our land unlawfully without the legal right to do so, that'll be committing an offensive trespass on our private property. And if you can proceed to damage our private property without the legal right to do so, which you haven't got, you'll be committing the offence of vandalism. Network Rail are corrupt.
Okay, so it won't just be vandalism. It'll also come under what this cop is about to quote in a second. Now, I've seen on the video the outline of the ownership of the land, and if you go on to because you can go in and get this information, if you go on to the land registry and find out who owns that land and what land they own, you can go over to a satellite image of the land. And on that satellite image, there's key features like the trees, which are clearly marked, obviously, because it's a tree. And on that image, you can see that road where they are and up to that fence is theirs. And where the fence ends is where their land ends. So that hedge line, everything from there is theirs. But if you go over to the non-satellite image and just a box look of what it is, it's not very indicated on what is their property and not. So the satellite image is key to what property is owned by who. And as she said, it is their land which would then become trespass. They can use reasonable force to remove trespassers off their land. And what this cop is about to say is explain what aggravated trespass is. Now, aggravated trespass applies to the person whose land it is. So if they own that land, which they do, and this company comes onto that land, creates damage and stops them from doing their lawful activity, it would be aggravated trespass. So what this copper is doing is explaining what laws apply to them, when really is explaining the laws what covers them. But it's two-tier, so it's not there to stop an offence from happening or anything like that. It's there to assist an offence happening. But let's continue.
Network Rail are unlawfully trying to...
Thank you.
So are you listening to me?
Well,
Right, so the legislation states a person commits the offence of aggravated trespass if he trespasses on land and in relation to any lawful activity which persons are engaging in or are about to engage in on that or adjoining land in the open, does anything which is intended to him to have the effect of intimidating other persons or any of them so as to deter them or any of them from engaging in that activity, of obstructing that activity or disrupting that activity.
What about protecting our legal rights?
What about protecting our rights? They don't own the land.
So because these chains
But it's our gate, it's
or
our
your
land.
vehicle
This is
are
our land.
obstructing them going about that activity,
You haven't got a
No.
lawful
that
right.
would be the offence.
So what right have they got to come and kick the door down to our house? Do you know what I mean? What, you know, are you going to use the same legislation for that?
Kick the door down to
Can they come and break the door down in our house under that legislation?
That's not-
That legislation relates to them if they own the land, yeah?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
don't own
exactly.
land.
So you're making a judgment, but with that legislation that they own the land.
I'm following
Thank you.
guidance
Okay,
offered to me by
you're all
people
criminals.
taken-
So this constable has just admitted that legislation applies if they own the land. He said yes. Now, he has said what legislation gives them the power to remove the chains. That legislation does not give them power to remove the chains at all. Now, if they cut any chains or anything like that, it would become criminal damage. They have access to the land right next to it. Just past the gate, you can see there's a little path going up there, which they have access to, so there's no need for them to cut that chain. Now, they're disputing over who owns the access road. Now, that access road on their maps shows that this couple own that bit of land. So everything which is done now would be classed as criminal damage. And I truly hope this couple does win in court with the satellite images and then goes after the guy which is come and created all this aggravation for harassment. And then in a minute, you're going to see him come and cut the chain. Also goes after him for criminal damage. And then sues the police for assisting an offender. And I hope these two officers get done for assisting an offender. Because that's exactly what it is. It's a big vicious circle when you are not 100% sure on what you are doing. And the fact that there's legal arguments about who owns the land, it should have been stopped there and not allowed any more of this nonsense to happen until that was settled. Because if Network Rail loses, like I said, it is then criminal damage, harassment, and then them two constables are assisting an offender in... assisted an offender with him doing the criminal damage and the harassment. So really it should have put on a standstill until they established who owns the land and then gone from there.
Liz,
You're criminals.
okay, we'll film you. You'll regret it.
Yeah.
Because you're criminals. There you go, Mr. Smith.
When you see Mr. Smith committing criminal damage and trespassing,
Ian, just give him some space, Ian.
Network Rail, corrupt, fraudulent devils, just like BTP, their private security force. Absolutely biased. Shame on all of you.
Matt, can I just ask you?
Liz, breaking our vandalism. Vandalism.
Not a fair fight.
You have a good laugh, Mr. Smith, and enjoy yourself. I don't have to stand back. I'm not threatening. Why are you telling me to stand back? Are you making an allegation? What, so where can I stand on my land, Mr. Chapman? Where can I stand on my land? Liz, can you leave it now, please? Just, it's obvious they're adamant on committing a crime here today and acting unlawfully. They've got their private security force with them to help them. And everyone's going to know about it. Two-tier policing. Network, now what's it like having your own personal security force? Helping you commit, aid and abet you in breaking and entry and vandalism. So, we're not allowed to park in our driveway anymore, no?
You are allowed to park.
Oh, thank you.
But as long as you're not obstructing anybody going about their life.
Oh, well, let's hope I don't forget my car there then, eh? Unbelievable. Bloody thugs. I hope this comes back on all of you. Bloody criminals. Here they come again. Let's hope a solicitor on the internet sees this, like Anwar, and takes you all to the cleaners. You're trespassing, sir. So this is the way Network Rail deal with civil matters for everyone watching on YouTube. This is the way Network Rail deal with a civil matter. They use their corrupt so-called police, their private security force. So there you go. Criminals.
Okay then, so I've just let the rest of this video play out because not much really happens. To cut the fence, they then go onto the property and back up vehicles to block the road, which then would be stopping them from being able to leave their property, which becomes aggravated trespass. See how it works? It's a stupid thing for Network Rail to do. Like I said, this all should have been sorted in courts to establish who owns the land before any of this even got to this point. That should have been fast-tracked in the courts and figured that out. It's not hard to do. There's a land registry which highlights what land is owned by who, where the boundary lines actually are, and now you can go into a satellite image which shows you landmarks which would indicate what land is theirs. It's not a hard argument to fight. Network Rail will do everything they can to stop it from going into court and getting that far because they just want to bully the people. Big corporations, lots of money, they can afford to do that. And obviously, the little people can't really afford to keep on going in and out of courts because it starts costing a lot of money. But this incident shouldn't have really happened. It should have been gone to court, established who owns the land, and then gone from there. Because this, as soon as it's established that they own the land, what you've just witnessed is aggravated trespass, criminal damage, and then the transport police assisting an offender. I totally agree with what they're saying. The transport police are basically their private security. This couple have got a hell of a lot of videos on their Facebook page showing these same two constables coming and assisting these offenders. That's what I'm going to call them because that's what they are. Assisting them, harassing them, and they've got it all. So go over to their channel, watch all of the videos, share all of the videos, get it out there, force mainstream media to get involved, because nothing will happen until it's all over everywhere, and then it's fast-tracked. But all of this is just my opinion. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this interaction. As always, like the video, it does open YouTube's algorithm, and I'll catch you on the next one.